Hello, fellow Fumblers, and welcome to another episode of the Fumblers podcast. Today, we are going to be reviewing the movie This is Spinal Tap, released in 1984 and directed by Reiner. So, without further ado, I'm Adrian.
I'm Jay.
I'm Darren.
Hey, it's James.
Whew! All right.
What a fumbling, man.
I'm fumbling, I guess.
What's going on? We've been drinking a little bit today.
I've had like 1.5 beers in the past 2 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Where's my shot? Hold on.
Oh,
it's right here. It's right here.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Man.
you're trying to scare us. So
I'm trying to scare you guys.
You're trying to scare me.
Are you ready to jump into this one?
Yeah, on that note.
Oh shit! Cheers, bros.
Cheers.
What does that say? Badass?
This is badass, dude.
Are you?
I thought it was fitting. I don't know.
You get that shit.
I'll talk
You're
about that in a
cool.
minute.
Never gets easier.
Um,
Doesn't get easier. Ooh.
This randomly felt fitting for the movie. I don't know why. Just because they're so full of
Sure.
themselves, I guess. And I was
Pink?
like, huh.
Is that pink? It says badass and it's pink.
I'm colorblind. I don't know
What?
color
That is
it
blue.
Blue.
Okay. I'm glad
I
that's
don't
it.
know.
Interesting.
It could be pink. Well, I mean, except that it isn't, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's jump right into this. This was a pretty, I guess, requested movie, and also you guys seemed pretty excited for this one. I had never seen it.
Yeah, technically, it's a fan request. My mom was like, "Please do Spinal Tap. Please do it." She kept telling me that, and we finally got it in the gauntlet, and it fucking won.
Taryn's
So
mom, I think of all of
shout
our
out.
moms, Taryn's is our biggest fan. So there we go.
she never watched a single episode.
And still, my mom, I don't know if she knows what a podcast is.
Yeah, I don't think my mom even knows that I do this. Wow, I feel kind of bad for that.
That's funny. Oh, we have an entire drink dedicated to Jay's mom, which is titled Jay's
Wow.
Mom.
Yeah.
She's featured in the podcast more than she even knows, I think, as a celebrity guest in our cocktails.
This is the. Okay. No, earlier I said thanks, Mom. I guess now I'll say sorry, Mom.
Oh man! For those who don't know the story, just to quickly explain it: vodka in a White Claw. That's Jay's mom.
Mhm.
She invented that for us.
Yeah,
Introduced it to
she-
us.
One day randomly called me up and was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling it." And I was like, "Feeling what?" And she was like, "I threw vodka in a White Claw." And I was like, "That's a pretty good idea."
Yeah.
I just
The
like the White
alternative-
Claw.
It works.
The alternative name is a vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a good name.
It's a good one.
All right, so this is Spinal Tap.
So
What
have you guys
is
seen
Spinal
it?
Tap?
You guys seen this?
No,
what?
never
Yeah,
seen
first
it.
I didn't
time.
even watch the movie.
I thought,
Nice.
I thought for
yeah, I've
sure
seen
that I had seen it in passing. I don't know, just like being your guys' friends. But no, never,
Yeah.
never ever.
And what's
Yeah.
weird is I've only heard like a couple of notable quotes from this movie, like the one I said earlier, like turn this up to 11, or like that's not the exact quote, right? But just that joke.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And like other than that, I didn't really know much about this movie at all.
Nice. That's cool.
And almost still uncertain if it's a real band. I know it's not, but they've got two full albums on Spotify.
Oh wow.
So, which I was like, wait,
It's like I say, aren't, and they are. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's not a real
Yeah.
band, but I mean, what's a real band, right? They've got more albums than Rogues Beware. So,
Oh my god.
You went there.
I'm sorry. I was not gonna say it. I was like, I'm halfway through the sentence. I'm fucking fire.
Okay, so I gotta go, guys. I'll see you guys later.
For those who are unaware, Rogues Beware is mine and Jay's band. Are we in a band? I don't even know
Band
at this
question
point.
mark.
Band question mark.
Oh,
We
man.
maybe used to be in a band.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, that parody music, is it parody? It's not even really parody because is it
That's
parody?
Kick so much ass. What do you mean?
Is it parody? I don't know. It's really good.
It's not parody because it's not like directly based off of shit, right? It's just like
Yeah,
I guess parodying the genre, right? Instead
Yeah.
of just a
Okay.
song.
Yeah, I
There you
think
go.
that would be the right thing. So I think they had a Spinal Tap pack for Rock Band,
Are you
Something like that.
serious?
Guitar
and
Hero.
I think
Yeah.
that is the only reason why I knew that main song, that first song that
Yep.
they play.
That song
How
is
do-
stuck in-
how-
has been
how-
stuck in my head since I watched.
How
this
does it
movie.
go? How does it go, Terry?
Tonight I'm gonna rock it.
Yeah. Bam, bam, down, 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 down. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we played that like a fuck ton in Rock Band like back in the day, and which is funny because like Rock Band had that, and then Guitar Hero in their little loading screen, it shows the amp turned up to 11.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
was
true.
big. Like a
Yeah.
huge cultural impactment, I think.
Mhm.
Even on people that, weren't necessarily so rooted in that genre of the world. Like turning up to 11 is like a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
that joke specifically was really funny, dude. Like, is it British humor, I guess? It's so British humor to me, even though I know it was
a little
Native
dry.
American.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
and that's
I did
and
not
that's-
know until now that none of them are like British or anything.
Right,
They're
yeah.
just all from America. I never knew
Yeah.
that.
So like
I-
that.
yeah.
Since they're so good.
That's what's incredible about this movie is that like you think that they're British, and then I was just looking up like who are these guys? I was kind of just like some of them look familiar, and then the one that blew me away is the main singer of the band. What's his name? Saint
St. Hubbins?
David
David
Hubbins.
St. Hubbins.
He plays the brother of Saul on Better Call Saul, and so I know him as like this
Mm.
older man.
Right.
And then seeing him there, I was like, "What the fuck?" My mind was blown, dude.
That's awesome.
Like I just did not know, but that was like these guys British voices were pretty good. But okay, going back to is this British humor? So funnily enough, I'm sorry, I'm gonna forget these guys' names. Who's the main guitarist?
Nigel.
Nigel.
Trufkin.
So and he's played by
Christopher Guest.
Yeah.
So Guest actually grew up in England. He has
Huh.
dual citizenship, and apparently he was heavily involved in writing the movie, obviously. And a lot of this is ad-libbed, right? Isn't it a lot of
Improv,
improv? Yeah, improv. And so I was wondering if he just knew a ton about Britishisms. Like just all the little isn't it?
that's a good
Like all
point,
the little things that like it is, isn't it? Like they always
Yeah,
say isn't
yeah.
it? Like and it's like
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if like he just knew that and he like helped everybody
Get
like
there.
get there.
Yeah.
Go to
But
that
but
next
it's but it's
level.
interesting, yeah.
Well,
Or maybe-
that's what was crazy is there was like 4 writers credited on this movie. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, granted, like they wrote 2 albums of music at some point, right? Like it was a lot
Right.
of work.
So apparently they all actually play instruments too. Like
They're
They
real
were-
musicians.
Yeah.
And they're really playing too, like during everything. But yeah, to touch back on just, like the improv-ness of this, it almost felt like it was a series of SNL skits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like based off of the same theme. Like it really had that vibe to it.
And so I think the reason why it felt that way is because they actually created these characters years before they knew they were going to make this movie. And then they actually like developed these characters. So when Robert Reiner was asking questions in the movie, because he plays the director of the movie in the movie.
Right. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, but they weren't like ready for the questions that he was going to ask. He asked random questions, but they were so involved in creating the characters that a lot of those things they knew the answer because they stayed in that character and they built those characters for so many years.
Wow.
Like if
That makes so much sense.
like if he said like, oh yeah, who was your best friend like from this and that, like they were just like, oh yeah, like they could just like vibe
Riff.
off of it, riff and just kind of go through it. Did you guys ever catch when they were
That makes a lot of sense because they would laugh at some of the
did you see
questions.
did you see them they would look at the camera and like kind of not
Like
try to laugh
when he's reading off the reviews of their albums, they're like laughing hard.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
He's like
Yeah.
shit sandwich. He's like, you didn't write that. They're
Right.
laughing.
Yeah.
yeah
So good.
yeah
Dude, the names of the album, Shark Sandwich. That shit was so funny.
yeah
Oh man, what's their album cover? It's like a girl with like what is it called?
Oh, smell
Glove.
the glove.
Smell
Yeah.
the
The
glove.
glove, yeah.
Gosh, ridiculous.
yeah
Smell the glove.
And
That whole
so
joke is hilarious too, with the album cover and how they couldn't release it because it was too like sexual. And they
yeah,
were like, "Well, they've got people on theirs, yeah, but it's reversed. They're the victim." Man.
if it was you being forced to smell the glove, if I was all
Yeah.
oh right.
yeah
Dude,
So
real quick about that Black album, just like a fun fact is, I guess Metallica, they have the Black album.
yeah
Right.
yeah
Yeah.
It's like a tribute to that. I
Oh,
never
really?
knew
No
it was
way.
actually, but actually, I guess it is.
a lot of
Pretty
bands
cool.
have a black album, right? Or no? Or am I
know
just?
it's okay.
It's just like a color, maybe.
I know
don't about
Jay-Z has a
specifically
black album.
yeah, they're not. I don't
Black
think they're
album, but-
like necessarily uncommon. Yeah,
Mhm.
kind of like
Beatles have the
self-titled.
White Album, right? That's what they refer to in the movie. Where they're
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
the White Album,
Mm.
the White Album has sold the best, and there ain't shit on that cover.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and all of Weezer's albums are colors.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but-
Kind of. Yeah.
well, not all of them, but many of them.
Yeah.
They have like names, right?
I think they have names, but they're like
Some of them.
I
known
know Ratitude is one of them. And yeah, there's tons of other colors over
Right.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of colors.
Yeah.
So again, the three main band members, they're musicians. I wonder how much experience they have like being in actual bands, because apparently this is like weirdly accurate of a movie of like what it's like to be in a band in the 80s. And like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read this thing that Ozzy Osbourne watched this movie and didn't laugh, didn't know it was a mockumentary. Well, we can get into what a mockumentary is, but didn't know it was satirical, because he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, this is what it is. Like, you go through tons of drummers, you like it, and I was just like, what?
And they all
How do they-
die.
Dude, yeah,
And-
as a drummer, I was kind of like, what the fuck? I was like, are we just really that
disposable.
yeah, replaceable, and just like we're so mysteriously just on the edge of life of all time?
Dude,
don't
I
know.
love my favorite death of the drummer was the one who died in a gardening accident. They're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was unsolved. The authorities thought it'd be better to leave it that way.
Yeah.
What? Oh, so
Yeah.
so ridiculous.
I mean, I don't, speaking to like being a band in the 80s, I don't really know, but it did give me a lot of like nostalgia of being in our band, and we were never like big, but like
Yeah.
there's still pieces of it that they felt real. Like that should happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like actual big rock stars or whatever that have cited like, dude, that shit is so real, especially like them getting lost behind stage.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
that was
gosh.
so good.
That was
A
such
few people, I don't remember
thing.
exactly who, but they were like, dude, that shit happens. Like,
They end up in like this. I don't even know where the hell they are. It's like the basement of some place,
Yeah,
and they're just
it genuinely
getting
did.
directions from a janitor or something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What I loved
Ridiculous.
about this movie, and I think this kind of like plays into the mockumentary piece, right? Like it was how slow, like I don't know if slow is the right word, but like how long the segments were. Like when things were
Mm.
happening, you saw from beginning to end. Like the
Mhm.
songs, they would play the songs and you would watch that entire song like a music video.
Yeah.
And now in like
Yeah.
movies, when they're playing music, they'll play like part of it and then
Yeah.
it'll just like end mid through, and you don't really hear everything.
Mhm.
But
Right.
because they drag it out so much, they can do so much with that, and it feels more real. It has that documentary feel.
It feels DVD-esque, right? Like you're watching
Yeah.
your one of your favorite bands, like just
yeah.
I don't know, just one performance out of many,
Yeah.
Right.
That long, which is crazy that it was improv, because everything is like long form, right?
Yeah.
All of these scenes are like multiple minutes long, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes long. And if they're just riffing off each other the whole time, that's like next level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to see the script and compared to like, because they are what kind of script they had, you know, and like how
Yeah.
they based scenes and how much they kind of did riff off of it. Because we talked about that a lot in our episode, what was it? Forgetting Sarah Marshall, right? Where there, like a lot of it was improv.
Yeah.
What did we say? Like 60% was written, or 40? It was like some ridiculous ratio that.
Yeah.
And I wonder what the ratio for this one would be, because I
feel
would
like it's
imagine
higher
pretty
improv.
weighted. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember reading. I don't think there was a script like almost at all. Like it was just
Oh, wow.
ideas.
They were just like, this scene needs
in
to
this
happen.
in this movie or Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No, in
This
this
movie.
in
This
is
movie.
Spinal Tap.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Which is also interesting because okay, so like I'm gonna compare this to the movie that we just did, The Royal Tenenbaums, where I feel like it's almost similar, where there's a ton of dialogue between characters, and like it's kind of quirky. But for me, like Royal Tenenbaums didn't do it. It felt scripted more, right? And then and this is just like kind of felt natural, even though some of the things that they were saying were awkward. Like they just tried to get like through it, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked because they were so fucking full of themselves. Like that's what was different. Like okay, so like you have the Royal Tenenbaums where they're rich, but they're not. And they are full of themselves, but something felt different here. But when you know it's a parody, like in this movie, like it just worked for me, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to compare the two because there's a lot of heavy dialogue here. Like if you're not 100% paying attention, you're not going to pick up those like random little things that are just so hilarious, you know?
The subtleties. I think with what it had in common with this and Royal Tenenbaums was like the main characters are just completely not self-aware at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like they just don't understand who they are in the universe, like if that makes sense, like their importance in it, and like I don't know.
I mean, going back to the improv stuff, it like, and plays into the dialogue, but like there was parts that felt, for me, I guess I'd say, that felt a little bit dry and like slow. But like I think that's expected. If you're cranking out a ton of improv here, not everything's gonna like be A+. But the fact that so much of this was hilarious, like not knowing that was a ton of improv, I think it makes it that much better.
And I've heard that they recorded hours and hours and hours, like hundreds of hours.
Yeah,
I think I heard that.
Like hundreds of hours of just stuff, like just random things that they were trying to work on, like just back and forth. And this was the hour. How long was this movie? Hour and 40?
Hour 25.
Very short.
Hour 20.
Not long.
This was the hour and 20 of things that they thought was hilarious. I want them to like release whatever year it is. Yeah, like just give us a DVD of just like unedited clips and just like put it out there. That'd be cool.
That is a crazy thought, to edit something down that's that long. And like you've got the idea for a movie and you roughly know how long it's going to be and you roughly know the shots that you're going to need, but this, to have hundreds of hours and whittle it into like a story and stuff.
So did you guys catch like the random cold sores that they got?
Oh yeah,
like they all like had random party. And apparently that was like a whole side story that they cut out from the movie. Like they were all kind of sharing this groupie and she started off with the cold sore, and they kind of decided that like it was the random cold sore that was unexplained was a lot more funny than actually seeing the groupie with the cold sore and everybody like sharing the cold sore, which was so weird. It was just like, what the fuck? Like that was so weird.
It was not subtle. Like it was not subtle.
Right. Yeah, it was fat and juicy. Like it was weird. It was weird. Gosh. Yeah.
I kind of took that as like, because that kind of happened after the night where they're partying in like the high end place, right?
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, like, they've made it, and now they're just, I thought it was like a bit of a joke that like they're just like banging a bunch of chicks or whatever. Yeah. But that's hilarious that there was a whole
okay. So to mention this, so it's not exactly explicit. This whole movie really does it show a lot of drug use or anything like that? Which, not really, right?
I feel like the keyboardist does, like cocaine at least.
Does he?
But none of the main guys.
okay, maybe I missed that, but like it didn't feel very like balls to the wall rock and rolly, you know, like you like the stereotypical rock and roll, you know what I mean? Like it
Right.
just kind of gave you a glimpse. I guess if you're having a documentary made of you, you wouldn't want it to be painted in a bad light. So maybe
True.
that's kind of makes it more
Dude,
realistic, right?
That's the thing about this mockumentary shit. It adds this other dimension where it's like they're acting, but in real life. So like you have to take all those things into account. Oh, it's a documentary. I don't want to do this and look like an idiot, right?
Yeah.
All those things that you wouldn't really think about otherwise. It just adds this whole other spin, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like while they're in character and shit. It's probably so
Yeah.
hard.
Exactly. I feel like that's a challenge for an actor. Like
Mhm.
pretend to be this person pretending to be in a documentary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of mockumentary, did somebody say before we started recording, is this the first of its kind? Is this the first like mockumentary?
Basically, it's
It
the first one to be
invented
called
mockumentary.
mockumentary for sure.
Right.
Oh, really?
That's kind of crazy.
So this
Yeah,
spawned
it's cool.
this spawned like the
Like-
offices of the world and like those kind of things. Really?
Documentary now.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
so
Dude, when you
good.
mentioned documentary now last week and I was watching it, I was like, wow, this does just feel like a long ass documentary now.
it does,
episode.
dude.
It's
And
weird.
I was thinking about that, like if I for this movie, I rated it. I wrote down a rating. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I did it for this movie, but I'm like, maybe that'll change because it really did. Like, if we didn't have this movie, we wouldn't have The Office. We wouldn't have documentary now. We wouldn't have these things.
Really?
And
You think-
see, like that's like the disconnect where I'm coming from, where like I haven't watched The Office. I haven't gotten to Parks and Rec. Is Parks and Rec is documentary style, right? Too
yeah,
Similar,
loosely.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I haven't really experienced all those, so I don't really know
Yeah.
the magnitude of what
I mean,
we're experiencing here.
to Adrian, I'm sure somebody would have came up with the idea eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
That's-
But the way the dominoes fell, like I figure if that wasn't there, we wouldn't have these things.
Oh
Interesting.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, when I was watching this, I think while I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this is funny. I get it. It's funny, but there were certain points where I was just like, okay, I get it. They're oblivious, and like it kind of started. I don't know. I kind of started feeling a little bit bored, and maybe I'm wondering if like maybe it would have been more enjoyable for me, like if it felt like this should have been like a TV series, right? Like, and maybe had like a couple of seasons. I mean, they had hundreds of hours recorded.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if that would have been different for me, like more bite-sized pieces of like this is the episode where they do this, or I don't know.
Yeah, mate. You know
Sure.
what? You might be onto something there.
Yeah.
That
Well,
might have
maybe
worked.
that's the improvement upon the
Right. Maybe that
genre
was the stepping
The
stone.
Office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, what they do
Getting
in the shadows.
getting to know the character.
What we do in the shadows, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting to know the characters a little bit more and just kind of building on their just like their
Yeah.
insanity. Like I don't know, like just some little subtleties like when Gus's guest is that the guy Gus's character is Nigel is playing that beautiful D minor piece like
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
it's just like
what's the name of that song? It's like this beautiful piece. It's
dude.
based
It's-
off of like, what does he say, Mozart and Beethoven or
Yeah.
something?
Mozart and Bach, so it's
And
mock.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And
And
it's like
it's-
has this most obscene name.
Yeah, it's something about like my
lick my love pump.
lick my
Yes.
love pump. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful.
And
I
it's
think-
it's good ass music, and you're just like, what the
Right.
fuck? But then like, I don't know. I think I'm kind of feeling that episodic. Like that
The
could be
love
kind of
pump?
interesting.
Yeah, no, I
definitely.
agree. And well, that was kind of my point. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't know the characters as well as I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
could-
really even
yeah.
remember their names. Like Nigel, St. Hubbins, Derek Smalls. And I'm just like, okay, I want to know these characters more, but we only have an hour and 24 minutes and I'm not
Yeah.
learning that much about
Right.
them.
But isn't it funny
like-
those names like they sound like rock star names?
Rockstar names.
Even though I can't, even though it's hard to remember them like like the Saint and then
Yeah.
like the Smalls and like I don't know. It's just like
Eric Smalls. That's
Yeah, that
hilarious.
just sounds like a
that
real
just
ass,
sounds
like,
like somebody
some guy
you know.
from Iron Maiden or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I
It's-
think, you know, to kind of touch back on what you're saying about the beautiful piano, there was like instances of that in real life, right? Like Motley Crue had that really beautiful song with piano. What is the
Yeah.
name of that song?
Really?
Home Sweet Home.
Home Sweet Home, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
It
man.
has that
Wow.
vibe, like straight up. And
Dude,
when he
that's
was
what's
playing the piano,
yeah.
I was like, this is 100% the
Yeah,
Motley
yeah.
Crue.
So
tribute to something.
tell us, Taryn, like you guys. I think you guys know more about like the '80s metal scene than like me for sure. Like
Yeah,
I
Taryn and Jay more specifically.
yeah, I think
I'm
you
not-
guys
Yeah,
you
I
guys
was
are
raised on that shit.
deep in the cut. Yeah, your mom wanted you to watch this movie. What I'm kind of want to know what she thinks of this movie. Like this movie is kind of painting metal in a bad light in a way. Like
I don't
like
know if it
even
is.
No, I
even
think
even the
it's like
scene
self-deprecating humor, but
Yeah.
it's like,
That's how I feel it is, yeah.
you know,
but it's interesting because it makes you realize that metal from that era really is like this, like where it's
Yeah.
like the Druids, like that fucking
Yeah.
that random ass fucking
Sometimes it be like
Stonehenge.
that.
Like it's just like some of those songs are so fucking cheesy, and it's just like it's interesting because the scene where the taxi driver, not taxi, limo driver, he's just like, oh, these fucking limeys, like this is just a phase, like they don't know
Yeah.
they don't know nothing about the struggle and loss, like Frank Sinatra,
right?
like Sinatra
Mhm.
knew, which is interesting because I thought that was like one of the coolest like foreshadowings
Yeah.
I've seen. Like
That's what's
That's
crazy.
true.
This
that's
movie
what it
came out
was.
in
That was
84.
that was foreshadowing. Like fuck, they were like these guys are gonna lose it all, and they're gonna finally be like Sinatra, which I thought was really cool. But like it was like interesting to see that, and like I don't know, just like the comparisons of like people are always gonna say like, oh, it's just a phase.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
it's funny
and
because
like
that
the-
actually was like when the 80s ended, all that shit ended. Like
Yeah,
straight up.
with the
Yeah.
start of grunge.
Mhm.
But what's funny to talk about like phases and stuff, they go through how many phases? Like they flash back to like
Yeah.
when they're like 60s, like straight up
Yeah.
Which-
the Beatles.
you know, hippie
which-
Beatles kind of vibe.
The timeline really doesn't like match up.
Absolutely.
Like
doesn't.
they've been a band for like 17 years or something, and they're like barely like I don't know, maybe late 30s,
20s or
early
something.
30s. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like weird, but
No, I think there was a lot of like, I mean, yeah, you know, to speak more to like the 80s metal stuff, it's like my dad listened to a lot of Def Leppard and Motley Crue and stuff like that. And you know, it there was a lot of those vibes. I felt those vibes for sure. But it was, I don't know, it was a bit of a phase, right? Like but what they went through in the movie I think really happened. Like we went and saw Sammy Hagar at Route 66, right? Which like this dude was
Oh,
the singer
no.
of Van Halen at one point and has sold out arenas, you know.
Yeah.
But now he's like playing in a casino to like a fraction of the people, right?
Yeah.
Like that part was real, but they
Yeah.
lived these crazy lives too. Like
yeah,
I think they're getting the better end of the deal than stars nowadays, where it's like, I don't know, with social media and all that stuff, I feel like it just makes it really hard and like stressful to be a star. Whereas back then,
Oh yeah.
you could just be a star and be an asshole and it was all good, you know? And then they just
Right.
like made alcohol companies and just lived forever off of the money. And it's crazy, but it happened. But the lives that they lived
Yeah.
were crazy. Like they lived full lives in these time spans of when their bands were big. And that's what was interesting is that movies like this and then movies like The Dirt, which is that Motley Crue like biopic with Machine Gun Kelly and a bunch of random people, Pete Davidson's randomly in it.
What?
I think it's on Netflix. You kind of see the similarities, right? Like the things
Yeah.
that they were doing in this movie, they were also doing in that movie. But, you know, like we said, they didn't really go into like drug use and stuff like that. In The Dirt, they go through all that stuff. So you see
Yeah.
both sides and it feels like more serious and all that.
yeah, yeah.
But the just ridiculousness of their lives is
Mhm.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know though. You saying it's putting like that kind of music in a bad light or whatever. Like, I really don't get that personally because like it just feels like more of a tribute and like I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's making fun of it in a bad way. Like it's looking down at it kind of thing. Right?
You don't think it's looking down on it at that way?
No.
I'm seriously wondering, like, you think the actors are metalheads? I don't know. What do you call that?
Metal fans, whatever.
You think
so.
do you think they're
I think
fans?
so, too.
I'm just
think
curious.
so.
I think me knowing the lead singer is Chuck from Better Call Saul, like it's fucking weirding me out because I'm like, he just like the character. He's just so serious in the show. Like, I don't know. I'm like, could anybody who wasn't into those movies like come in and get interest into that kind of music?
Into those kind of music, you mean?
Yeah,
Into that kind of music.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if James and Adrian specifically are gonna laugh as much, get as much, just because you're not like super like ingrained in that kind of super like old culture.
Yeah.
or whatever.
But like the kind of music, like I don't know, like the fucking what was it? The sex. What was the sex song?
Sex Farm?
Sex
Oh.
Farm. Like that shit
Yeah.
reminds me of like I don't know. She's my cherry pie. Fucking.
Oh,
Yeah,
woman,
dude.
You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
it's so cheesy and it's stupid. Like it's stupid music. Like when I think about it, I don't know.
Specifically about
It's just-
Warren's
it's
Cherry
cut-
Pie.
Yeah.
Wasn't that song written like in a night because they needed one more track for the album?
I think so.
I swear it was like written in a
They
night.
changed
really?
everything. They're like, all right, this is the name of the album. This is the fucking single.
And that
Like,
was
yeah.
the hit, and they were pissed.
But
And,
they were probably trying to go against other bands who did similar shit, right? Like
Yeah.
which is like I don't fucking know. What's the Shook Up Ramen song? Pour some sugar on me.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
What?
So
I get, I
Deep-
think where you're
deep
coming
dive.
from
mhm.
with the, shedding or painting it in a bad light or whatever. But to me, I kind of agree with Taryn. Like it felt like it was just making fun of itself and not that it was making fun of something else.
And that's and that's why I was kind of interested in seeing your mom's opinion about it, Taryn.
She
Like-
they
like-
texted me today. They watched it earlier.
Like I feel like
Pretty
she
sure
would
she
be so
We're
pissed
live.
off about this movie. Like she'd be like, "No, it's not like that." I go, no. I just feel like she would think
I
that.
don't think so.
Maybe
She said-
I don't know.
she
Maybe
said-
I don't. I don't know.
Today
I,
she texted me, just watched Spinal Tap, forgot how funny it is, can't wait to see what you guys say. That's all
yeah,
she said.
yeah. So maybe
I mean,
maybe
they get it. Like it's like
they get
Yeah,
they understand the ridiculousness
the-
of some of that shit.
Yeah. Okay. Then I get
Yeah,
it.
we have a lot of defecating humor about ourselves.
Speak for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. That's like a fun type of humor. That's my type
Yeah.
of humor. I love it.
I think
and it's
okay.
fun to.
I think we can compare it to like I don't know some of our other music genres that we listened to when we were younger, and we can go back and listen to it and just be like, that shit's so stupid. Like I don't know any emo kids in the chat, like just some of that shit that you're just like, man, this shit is stupid, but also it's just like you feel it sometimes too.
Yeah, man.
Less on
Sex
like how
Farm.
I don't think it's like. Well, I guess the music is ridiculous, but I think what this movie was more touching on was just how ridiculous their lives were, like how ridiculous they were off stage, and just that whole aspect, which is interesting. So, again, movie released in 1984. It's released at the same time that all of this shit was
Going
down.
Dude, that's
All of
what's
this
so
was
weird
going
is
down.
it feels like it's way earlier.
It feels like this
I
movie
mean,
was
it is
released in-
earlier. Sorry,
It feels
it's
like
earlier
this
than
movie-
most of this shit.
It feels like this movie could have been released in like 2004
Yeah.
and been making fun of the 80s.
Yeah,
metal,
which is
right.
that is
You know?
interesting to notice. Like they didn't let the era like play out at all.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
84. That's kind of crazy. So they
It
probably
kind of
filmed
predicted some of that
kind
shit
of
a little bit.
kind of
Right.
filmed in 83.
It's like if a mockumentary was released today about like trap rap or something, like.
Yeah, sure.
But it's I don't know. That's really weird. I thought.
So apparently there's another mockumentary like this called Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping,
I wanna
which I
watch that
really
so
want to
bad.
Wow.
watch. I feel like
I
that
love the
might
title.
resonate with me a little bit more than this one. I don't know, maybe not. Like just kind of
Shout out to Palm
topical.
Springs.
Yeah, Lonely Island shit.
Lonely Island.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Did they make that movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
What's his face is the main character, Andy Samberg.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Right.
But yeah, so I wrote down a bunch of names that I thought were interesting that were talking good about the movie to like kind of be like they know that they're not being made fun of. They're like, oh, like that shit happened to me. Like I get how dumb and funny that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like Jimmy Page, fucking Ozzy, Robert Plant, even Kurt Cobain seemed like the most like serious like sad guy or whatever. It was like, yeah, that movie is fucking funny and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. Huh.
It's cool that
Jimmy
even like it was made. It feels like it was made for people that like that kind of music. You know what I mean? Instead of for people that don't like it and are trying to like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Make
like.
fun of
It's like a very niche like
yeah.
crowd.
Mhm.
I think the movie cost $2 million. It made $4 million. So it's like
Okay.
it's not.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
double your
yeah.
money. I mean,
Yeah. Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. The list of people that you named. I feel like Jimmy Page is pretty. I don't know. It comes off as serious to me, but maybe
Yeah,
'cause
a
he's
little
like
stuck
the
up or something.
godfather of rock and roll. He's the guitarist for Led Zeppelin,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he does solo stuff now, or maybe that's just Robert Plant. But
I'm sure it does.
dude, the Sammy Hagar concert, John Bonham's son was drumming for the band.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you
That's
guys
true.
telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So I think that first song, the freaking that was very heavily inspired by the whole Van Halen era, and especially with guests like guitar solos and stuff like that when he grabs the violin and like
Oh, yeah.
rubs it all over the guitar and everything. Like I think that's like heavily Van Halen inspired.
Yeah,
Dude,
Yeah, it's
his
funny
hair
because
kind of looked like it.
with
Eddie
with
Vedder.
the guitar, like there's some guitar riffs that you're just like, fuck yeah, this is actually sick. Like this is a
Dude, yeah.
sick
Mhm.
fucking riff. But then at the same time, they also are just like, okay, we can make a sick riff, but like let's make a stupid fucking solo
Yeah.
that just sounds terrible. And they do it in the same song sometimes. You're like, this is kind of brilliant. Like
Yeah.
to show some talent and then to show like deprecation of that like same kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
Did you
It's well
guys
done.
did you guys catch the song about the butts? They were all playing bass.
Yeah.
Oh,
All of them were
Yeah. So
playing
it's so-
bass, and the bass player was playing a double neck bass, and he never went down to the other one. I'm just
Oh,
like,
gosh.
holy fuck!
It's a parody
And which-
of
which
Fat
is-
Bottom Girl, right? By Queen.
Is it?
Like
Could
loosely,
be.
like
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I
It's like-
guess, yeah.
Dude, it's so funny. I remember randomly sending you a video of them playing that song James on like Steam or something,
Me.
and you're like, "Lol, what's up with what's up with them and basses or something?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. They're just like
Really? You
trying
said-
to be funny." Or
Oh, you
Yeah.
sent me that like as a real song, and I didn't even catch that it was a fake song.
I guess.
That's
I
hilarious.
don't know why I remember that. It was so
But
funny.
like dude, the crazy basses are like the one guy that just has like the crazy fucking guitar. Like that's like such a thing in that kind of music. Like that one guy in the band that just has the fucking dumbest thing to play or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's so interesting.
Michelangelo, Batio or whatever. has
Jesus
the
Christ.
quad neck guitar.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, dude.
oh,
It's like an X.
Yeah.
It's like an X. Dumb.
Yeah.
No, I thought the music was pretty awesome though. Like
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was a lot of like groovy
good.
riffs, and
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. It brought me back. That's funny. The all bass song. There's a band called Extinction Level Event now, or if there was, I don't know if there's still a thing. But they played like proggy stuff, but it was all bass. Everybody played bass in the band.
Uh-huh.
And in their videos, they would have stuffed animals of like bass fish, and they would always be playing the bass fish.
Huh.
But like the song was normal, you know.
Did they have
that's
vocals too? Like,
Or
was it an
I think
instrumental?
So I don't remember. I think they might
interesting.
have.
Yeah, there's so much fucking prog out there with no vocals, and it triggers me. So.
Dude, do you guys see if he actually sang the songs? I feel like he did, but like that song specifically, it's like so good. Like the way he sings, like the chorus and shit. I'm like, this is
I
sick.
feel like he did sing the songs. There's a scene in Better Call
I think
Saul
so.
where he's singing.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, it's good.
Sounds
and he's good.
It's a karaoke.
Oh
He's a very competitive lawyer in the show, and they're doing karaoke, and he's just like, "Give me that motherfucking thing!" And like, yeah, he is. Yeah, I believe that he would be singing for sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
dude, they were and okay, so they actually have been on tour. Yes, they've been on
As
tour
Spinal Tap?
as Spinal Tap.
That's amazing.
So that's how I know
Are you serious?
100%. They went on tour as Spinal Tap, but there's a little bit of controversy with the copyright and who owns their music. So there's actually a huge
a lawsuit. I
a
read
huge
about that.
lawsuit.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's upwards of $400 million.
So the movie only grossed $4 million, dude. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
So they are trying to get the copyright. It's funny because at the time it's very funny because this is kind of like they were actually a band who signed into a bad deal, which happens to bands
Which is
all the
epitome of
time.
bands. Yeah.
Like it happens to bands all the time. So they're actually trying to renegotiate their contract to get the rights back to that music, so that way they can start releasing, 20th anniversaries, 30th anniversary, like, just kind of get into that stuff. And it's actually the guy who is the bassist in the movie. What's his name?
Derek.
Derek Smalls, Harry Shearer.
Harry. Yeah. So he's the one
Yeah.
who's like leading this lawsuit against the company. But
Isn't it
Interesting.
actually like Polymer, like in the movie, right? I think
he's what?
that was that. Polymer Records in the movie, isn't that the actual real life?
Oh,
record?
I actually don't know who they're going against, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's somewhere upwards of $400 million that they're trying to
Crazy.
That's
trying to
insane.
get.
Wow. Which is funny because it kind of keeps begging the question of like, is this a real band? And part of me after watching this and looking up, I'm just like, yeah, like kind of. It is now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's your art at some point. Like you kind of have to just
Right.
you fight for your art, and especially like if you want to keep giving it to the fans, like, and you can't, you don't have access to the things that you created. It's got to be depressing. So they're very like adamant, like saying this isn't just us trying to get money out of it. This is supposed to be landmark.
Their baby.
Yeah, this is
Like-
supposed to be like landmark copyright law. Like they want everybody to like cite this thing so that way they can get like access to their music.
Mm. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the cast. I didn't know any single actor from this except Fred Willard. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was just like he made this random camp, like whatever you would call it, just this random appearance as like a military Air Force leader, right? Like he's like somewhere in the, which like great. I mean, rest in peace, Fred Willard. Just
Yeah.
died earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Great in this, like just so fun. He's like, yeah, we're hip with the jaunty tunes of this generation, and just so ready for this band to go up.
He has the
Spinal
fun.
Tap, what do you think their name is?
He
Tap,
he has one of the funniest fucking lines. He's like, yeah, I'm a fan of what you guys have done for the genre. He's like, not you guys specifically, but it's, just like, it's so fucking funny.
What does he
Oh,
say? He's
man.
like, I need a haircut too. I'm getting a little shaggy. They're gonna mistake me for one of the band members.
Yeah, that's not
Oh my
too close to
God.
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's not the only actor you knew that you. I guess you didn't notice, but the mimes that were waiters
The
Dana
mimes,
Carvey.
yeah.
and Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah,
So
I
funny
read
because
that. I
like
did read that.
it's funny that all those three actors are like. I mean, I don't know how well known they were back then, but they were actors. Even people seeing them and seeing them in the credits and stuff, they still thought that this was like a real fucking thing, like a real situations, real band, and all this stuff.
Right.
When it came out,
Mhm.
it's so
Right.
fucking funny. Man.
Yeah, because it wasn't a real band until after. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
until after this movie came out.
What about Fran Drescher?
Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
She's
Okay,
good.
that's fair. She's the host of the party, right? The
Yeah.
Yo, she's like hot. She's like kind of. I know a lot
What
of
is
people.
Ross the
show
Nanny,
she
bro?
is?
The Nanny.
The Nanny.
I know a lot of people know her as the
That
Nanny,
show's
but I'm just
hilarious,
like,
bro.
That show is so. Oh man, her laugh is so bad. It's so annoying.
It
I'm
is,
glad she
but
didn't laugh
good.
at this.
something about it does it for
Something
me.
about the
I'm not
name.
gonna- I'm not gonna-
All right, we're discovering a lot about James here. I'm
yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
The director, I actually knew as an. Then this is a weird. I mean, I don't know what this says about me, but he is the main character of New Girl's dad in the show.
Mm.
Yeah, and he comes around. It's Zoe Deschanel is the main character, and he comes around like once or twice a season.
Rob Reiner?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen some of the New Girl. I don't know if I really remember it though. That's interesting.
and he's like recent times, right? He's like super old and stuff. So in this movie,
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize him. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I saw the
Yeah.
name. I was like, I don't think I've ever heard of this guy. And then I looked it up after, and I was like, holy shit, this is the
Wow.
main character's dad.
Dude, looking up facts about these actors like blew my fucking mind. Like I just never thought to, I guess. I don't know. But let's give you some. Christopher Guest is married to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
And
That's
then
random.
Harry Shearer, dude. He is the voice of so many fucking
Oh
characters
yes,
in The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Ned
Really?
Flanders, Skinner, the principal or whatever. What is his name? Burns. What's his fucking first name? You know what I'm talking about.
Mr.
Mr.
Burns.
Burns. Yeah.
Oh,
And his like sidekick guy Smithers. He's all of their voices.
Wow. That's really
I was
cool.
like, what a fucking badass. No,
I
no,
think-
that's the bass player. Is
Oh,
the voice
Derek-
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
then
you-
Christopher Guest is
And you know what's funny about it is that his British accent I think was the weakest of all three. Yeah,
Three main. Yeah.
his was the weakest that kind of fell in and out every once in a while. Did you guys notice that or no?
I don't know.
I'm not
I
sure.
think like you were saying in the beginning, I was just like, yeah, these are just three British dudes who are, I really, and then I read this trivia that it was saying the voices, the metal detector scene where he's trying to walk through the metal detector and something keeps beeping.
Yeah.
There's like the TSA agent or the people talking on the intercoms. It's those actors without it, like in their American accents.
Oh,
wow.
really?
That's
That's
Yeah.
good.
And I was
Yeah.
like, whoa! So that's like their native. Okay, like
Mhm.
that's kind of interesting. Didn't really realize that, but yeah, I think to stay on Harry Shearer or Derek Smalls, hands down favorite character. Like just
Really?
his just how chill he is and how he's just like
Yeah,
Nigel
okay.
and David St. Hubbins, like he's just like the yin and the yang in the middle between
Yeah,
David and
and that's
Nigel.
like so accurate in bands, like where you have the two
Right. Big personality.
Yeah, the two heads of the
Yeah.
double-headed dragon that are just kind of clashing, and they just have like creative differences, and
Right.
then there's the guy in the background that's just like, they're both pretty cool.
Who were you guys?
Yeah.
Who was Jay and
Yeah.
James? Let's get behind
Oh,
the scenes on
hey, I
Rookie
was-
Beware.
I was the drummer, so I was the one that was always
The
dying. I was always just disappearing, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh man.
No, I think we were lucky in that there really wasn't that dynamic between us. I
Yeah.
feel
You
like
could tell
we're
me
all-
off. You could tell me off air, Jay. You could tell
No,
me.
no,
Off. I'm joking.
Hey.
He was always low key trying to.
Okay.
He was always low key trying to push that jazz concept shit.
Oh, yeah,
Come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
let's do it.
Jay, for the last time, leave your saxophone at home.
Which was hilarious because when they finally did the jazz little thing at one of the
God,
concerts,
the free riff, like
Puppet show.
freeform.
he's like,
Yeah.
our bassist wrote this. He just like throws him straight under the bus. When people are like straight up booing in the crowd, it's hilarious.
It's like 13 people in the
yeah.
Gosh, I think one of the best lines in the movie is like, "Your dressing room is bigger than the puppets." Like,
Oh my
the
god.
puppets.
Oh, I fucking hope so.
Yeah. So fucking good, man. Just a lot of good one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. I'm sad that not more of these are like known in pop culture other than like Turn It Up to 11,
Yeah.
because there's like some really good stuff here for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess now is a good time to bring this up. My old software company was named 11 Online,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't found this one. We were merged in later, but the name comes from
Yeah.
this movie. Like that was we turn it up to 11. Like that was in our branding and shit.
Yeah.
And not every customer, but a pretty
Oh,
good
yeah.
amount of them got the reference.
Oh yeah.
And we had it like
100%,
linked on our site and stuff. But so this movie holds a special place in my heart. Maybe a little bit reflected in the ratings. I don't know.
No, yeah. And what's hilarious, so IMDb, this movie is rated on a scale of 1 to 11 on
yeah.
IMDb. It has a 7.9 out of 11 on IMDb, which is fucking
amazing.
great. But you can only rate it up to a 10. You can't give it an 11,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Damn it.
That's awesome.
Boy, so how far along are we in this one? I think, are we...
We are about under an hour. We're like 50 something minutes
Okay.
right now.
That's not bad.
What else, Taryn? I know you got a fat fact sheet over there. What else you got? What else?
Let's see.
We've touched on a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not a long movie and relatively pretty
Mhm.
simple, right?
Yeah, we didn't
Right.
really talk about the plot or anything. I don't think we really need to.
How much is there to say?
Much of one,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I guess all I really have left is like the what is it? The like awards and shit. Not like awards, but like how big it is and like how
Right.
like important it is
Notable,
culturally.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like it was, or it is in the Library of Congress's registry or whatever the fuck.
Really?
Nice.
Roger Ebert gave it out of 4 out of 4. It's like on his great movies list. All this crazy shit.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
pretty
crazy.
Yeah,
I mean-
and then it's way more popular than I fucking thought it was, or it is, which is wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing is like it's so hard to think about this movie when it was made because now we have so many other things like it or like
Right.
that are
Yeah.
just but like this was the one, right? And
Yeah.
so it's
Mhm.
to have been there in that time and seen something like this is probably on another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to really negatively affect my rating on this because I'm like,
I'm with you.
I'm
but
like,
I'm also
I
at a
get it.
disconnect. I'm also at a disconnect because
Right. Yeah.
I don't have anything to compare it to because I haven't watched The Office. My only mockumentary I've watched, which I fucking love, is Borat. When I first saw Borat, like I was like,
Yeah.
this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
But like Borat
Yeah.
was different because it was a mockumentary with real reactions, right? Like
yeah,
it was
in a way like a
it was different,
Jackass
like
type thing.
yeah, it was kind of like a character
Yeah.
was going into real life situations, so the reactions were
organic. Yeah.
real. I don't know, and I don't know. We're not reviewing Borat, but yeah.
Right.
So that's what I have it to compare to. So like I'm like really, I don't know.
That's so interesting. I'm like totally never, and I'm not comparing it to like any other mockumentary style thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It just feels, it's just Spinal Tap. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Mhm.
Right. This
Yeah.
is Spinal Tap.
It just is.
Yeah.
All right. So, are we ready? Can you fumble while watching this movie? And what are we going to rate this? I cannot go first on this. I'm like,
I went first last time. I feel like
Oh,
it's not
man.
fair if I go first.
I want to say Jay. I want to say.
I don't want to go first.
I feel like
Um,
Jay and Taryn both have to go first or last. So give us
I'll
So
go
first.
throw
If
us
Cam
a
wants to go
burn.
first, I'll go
Yeah,
first.
okay.
Okay, give
So
it
we're
to Tim.
doing, okay, if we can
Okay,
fumble.
which to remind us, we forgot last time to. I think the first person said, "Can you fumble?" and then the three of us forgot completely.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So let's remember.
It was me. I don't know how to
So
fucking
for
remember.
those of you just joining us and are new to our show, we're introducing this new segment. Can you fumble with your rating? Which means can you drink? Can you be buzzed watching this movie and still enjoy it? And will it enhance it? Will it reduce it? Where is it at? So take it away, Taryn. What do you rate this scale of 1 to 11? 1 to 10.
Okay, so Can You Fumble? Definitely, for sure. It's a fucking comedy. Like,
Yes.
Mhm.
maybe you won't get every little tiny little, like, see their fucking cold sores and shit. Like, maybe you won't see every joke, but it's still gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. Okay, so as for my rating, I am very into this kind of music. Maybe not like I listen to it all the time, but like I grew up with it. Like it's a part of me, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
Mhm. Whether I like
But,
it or
you
not.
love it. You love it.
Jeez.
I do.
The side
like-
slaps.
It just does such a good fucking job of paying tribute while making fun of without disrespecting all of this stuff. Like it does it so fucking well. And like the music they made, like it's actually like pretty fucking good music. Even the lyrics are fucking insane. Like I actually like the music. Like it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Like all the different jokes and shit. Like it just I don't know what to say. It just makes so much sense coming from like this genre of music. Like it's just perfect. Like all the jokes and shit. So I guess with that, I will rate it's an 8.5.
Whew.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. 8.5 coming out of Taryn. Jay, can you fumble? And what do you rate?
Jay's next. I thought Jay was
I'm gonna
going
go
last.
I thought it was. Oh, you
Last.
said first
I
and
thought
last.
you said me and have to go together.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I thought you
swap
said.
We should swap off.
Swap off.
Oh
One of
gosh.
you
Okay. Well, then James go.
okay.
Can you fumble?
Can you fumble? I'm gonna say no. I
Woo.
don't think you can because just like the problem that I had with Royal Tenenbaums, there's a lot of dialogue and it's very quick. If you are kind of buzzed, I think you're gonna miss half of the references, half of the jokes. I just feel like this one you have to really pay attention. I think that you would probably get a little bit more on that second view, second, even third view. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say keep the beers at home, keep them in the fridge. Don't crack them. Leave the little leave it over there. This one, it just seems like a lot of dialogue going on, but going straight into my review, yeah, this is I really want to put myself in that time, and for what it's trying to do, like it's incredible, right? Like it's crazy the way that you can see the dedication of each actor, like really just riffing off of each other and just really trying to have fun with what they're doing, and just Reiner like being down to just kind of make this and just being meta as fuck, like putting himself in the movie, making the movie, like just incredible. And yeah, it's just kind of funny, like it feels real in a sense that, like, I don't know, you just feel like there are people out there that are famous that really are that disassociated from life, and it's just funny. But
Yeah.
I think this movie is an 8 out of 10.
An 8. A
Nice.
nice solid 8. So cannot fumble and an 8. Should not, maybe. All right. So I will let Jay go last. I'll take it
You're
over.
gonna make me go last. Okay.
Didn't you say? Isn't that the whole point of this? That
we
we would
should swap off.
make a sandwich out of
Swap off.
people
What does
on
that
top?
mean?
Make a shark sandwich out of us.
The whole
Oh,
episode we've been putting myself and Taryn in a category and James and Adrian in a category. So swap off.
okay, Jay, take it away.
That's all.
Jay, can you fumble? What do you rate it?
Can you fumble? I agree with Taryn. Yeah, totally. You can fumble. It's a comedy. I don't like James said. There's a lot of dialogue, but I don't think you need to catch everything. Like the funny stuff is gonna be funny no matter what, right? The characters are they're a little lost on me. Like I'm still not sure which is which, but I don't know. For me it was like, okay, the mustache guy is a guy, right? Which was so fucking funny. The mustache. The blonde hair, the brunette hair, I could make do without knowing their names.
Yeah.
They were just
Right.
kind of stereotypes to me, or someone.
That stash was just
Yeah,
like
for that.
every bass player ever. Like, it really was.
It's so funny. But I think, the inspiration that this movie has caused for other things, other mockumentaries, we've named them all, but they're still really great even to this day. Documentary now has a few musical ones.
Yeah.
The Blue Jean Committee is my favorite, but the other one is good too. And it's, you can just see kind of the birth of this genre here. Like it's not 100% pulled together, but it's like it's all there, right? Like this is the mockumentary, and it's really good.
Yeah.
The improv, the improv that they did for this just adds to it for me. I think that's amazing. That's always funny and fun too. Like you can tell when something is made and they had fun making it, right? Like there's just a little bit, it's not as scripted and it's just a little bit more real, and all those elements combined. I think they just really did it for me. The music was good. Like all of these things were just done so well and so deliberately that like it just worked.
Mm-hmm.
I originally wrote down an 11. No, I'm just kidding. A 7.9. I wrote down a 7.9, but I think I'm gonna actually rate it at an 8.1.
8.1.
I'll
What
give
a
it a
0.2.
Yeah.
All right, 8.1 from Jay, and yes, you can fumble with it. All right, so I'll take it away. For this, I'm kind of in the middle. I would say keep it to no more than 2 beers on this one. I think, like James was mentioning, and we talked about, there are a lot of subtleties in the comedy here, and I think that if you're a little too fumbly, I don't know if you're gonna pick up on a lot.
Might
of
be
those.
too dry for some folks, I think.
Yeah, that's just like, do you like dry humor, right? Do you like dry
Yeah.
comedy?
Right.
So yeah, keep it to below 2 beers or maybe just a cocktail. So yeah, reasonably fumbly. As far as the rating goes, man, I think that this movie, I feel like it's so ahead of its time, but like that almost drives my score down because I feel like I wish I watched this movie right when it came out, right before I was even born, because now that there's so many things in this genre. There's documentary now, like we talked about The Office, all of these mockumentary type things where me watching this today, it took so much away, and like I didn't want it to, but it really did. And I did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun watching it. I think this movie was like bigger than anyone would have thought that it would have been. Like this turned into a real band. Like it turned into a really big thing. And again, like Jay said, they just had fun making it. I had fun watching it, but man, just I wish it was a series. I think if it was a movie or a TV series, then I could understand and learn more about the characters and get to know them better and just really dive into it, which I think is like what I'm geared for in that style.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked it more.
I think I agree.
Just my rating, it's lower than everyone else's, but I have to give this a 7.4 for this guy. So let's see what we're at collectively. 7.4. We are at a collective 8. Right. Okay. Solid 8.
Nice.
Solid 8. Yeah, 8 out of 11. So yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Just as a last comment, I don't know what the probability of anybody listening to this was a part of this journey, but shout outs to all the 11 Online fam. If you hear that, guys, hope everybody's doing well. And it bumps up a few points in my heart for that.
Yeah,
gotta give it a couple more.
Nice. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate it. Be sure you are following us on all of our socials. You can find all of those at filmfumblers.com. We are active on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a Facebook page. What else do we got? We got it all. Literally Google Film Fumblers. You will find us. Be sure you are following us on Twitch and hit that bell. You will be notified when we go live, when we record these new episodes every Saturday, released on Tuesdays. Next week, we will be recording our episode on Jaws. So be sure to tune into that one. That's going to be quite a fun one. So
going to be a mouthful.
We're going to need a bigger boat. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching us live, be sure to stay tuned. We'll be recording the after show right after this. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Cheers.
Peace.
Stonehenge.